The game might be over, but we're just getting started. Welcome to the Todd Fox Post-Game Podcast, your go-to spot for real, unfiltered Angels talk, win or lose, on the Halos in the Infield Network. You never know what's going to happen. Walk-offs, meltdowns, heroics, or straight-up typical Angels disasters. We're breaking it all down. Who stepped up and took home the Golden Stamos, the most prestigious award in baseball? And who embarrassed themselves so badly they're stuck with the dreaded Nacho Night Award? Drop your comments, call in, and sound off. We're reading them all. So like, share, subscribe, and buckle up, because this show pulls no punches. And yes, Anthony Rendon is still a fragile little bitch. Take it away, Todd.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome into another episode of Halos in the Infield postgame show with your host, Todd Fox. I don't really have my studio set up the way I want to. Obviously, I was going to get to it this morning, and boy, lo and behold, it did not work out the way I thought it was. So the game's starting a little earlier than usual, so I didn't get a chance to get to it. But hey, we're 1-0, baby, to start the season. Oh, no, wait, we're not. We're 1-1, winning against the White Sox here today. We're going to break everything down. We're going to show you exactly or tell you exactly what happened if you didn't get a chance to watch it. If you're checking in here, we really appreciate you coming in on a Saturday. It's a little early. You could be doing stuff, but you're hanging with us, and that really is much appreciated on our end. The Angels win 1-0 here on the Halos in the Infield Network, and we implore you, please, to hit that like button. It helps us out as we move forward. They win despite delusional, terrible hitting. We had our first injury of the year on the field, which was Joe Adell. To me, that looks like it's going to be like a day-to-day thing, so we'll see where that goes from here. Obviously, things that annoyed me right off the bat, number one is I can't believe I can believe it because it's cheesy FanDuel / Bally Sports Network, which is let's give the player the game away when there's still 2 innings plus to go. Look, Soriano did deserve it. Fernando came in on our chat and said, hey, I think Soriano should get player of the game or Golden Stamos. That's fine when it's us. But you're talking about an actual television station, which is supposedly reputable coverage of the actual team. That's their home channel. And again, I've always been under the impersonation or the impression that if you give an award away, it should be after the game, because if they gave that to Soriano and let's just say Benintendi or someone else comes through with a game-winning home run, well, why would you give the player of the game to somebody in the 7th inning? But I digress. Maybe I'm focusing on the stupid shit. But I think the biggest thing to come out of this one is the Angels win 1-0. They score 1 run last on Friday because, hey, we got to score that run, that solo shot that Halo Honks loves so much. The fact of the matter is, in this game, there was several opportunities for the Angels to go up 4 runs, maybe 5. Nick here and a run there, and it should have worked, but, it didn't work out because they had 8 hits. We've been crabbing about the times that, it's sort of like what I talked about on Friday. Time of possession in football is a major factor for teams winning. In baseball, it's out hitting the opponent, out pressuring the opponent with runners in scoring position, or at least getting runners on and attack, right? You don't want to have one of those games like they did on Friday where it's just sit back and, swing at everything, see what happens. It's pop outs, ground outs, quick strikeouts, quick innings. You're putting your pitcher right back into the fire's nest, and including against the White Sox. Again, this is probably one of the shittiest teams you've probably seen in years, right? They were historically bad last year, but things change from year to year. Not to say that they've gotten tremendously better, but that is still a major league team that you have to take serious, and you have to take advantage of their mistakes, which they have a lot of mistakes in the long run that you can capitalize on. But in this game, it seems like in the times they should have capitalized, they screwed themselves over, played right into the White Sox hands when the White Sox needed to get double plays. when they needed to take them the Angels out of situations that were beneficial to them, they tended to adjust, which means instead of attacking the leadoff hitter or the last two hitters that had got on base, it wasn't working, whether they were pitching high in the zone and were giving up hits or walking guys because they were, playing around too much in the zone. The White Sox, I'll give them credit. Every time they needed to get a double play, they threw pitches, and they kind of gotten the sign. I don't know if it was from Venable in the manager's box or manager's box, the dugout. I'm still getting back into baseball talk. Sorry. So my point being is they made the necessary adjustments, and they threw the pitches to get the Angels to swing over those pitches. So against a right-handed hitter, to induce a double play, you like to throw a slider in the zone, but on the outer half of the plate to get him to swing high or try to drive the ball because he's trying to pull it. And when you try to pull a ball like that on a slider going away on the outside corner to a right-handed batter, you tend to roll over the top of it and hit weak ground balls to the left side or up the middle. So they were throwing those very effectively, and especially the starting pitcher Cannon. I'm getting there. I'm sorry. And then also you had good pitches where, they were ahead of the count. They needed a strikeout, and they were throwing them in the dirt. They weren't messing with the guys up high. They weren't trying to break them inside. Just really, I felt in this game, the White Sox, up until the Clevenger inning, which Clevenger should have blown the game the other night too, the other day and Friday when he was wild. The Angels couldn't take advantage. Clevenger was bad in this one as well. And lo and behold, the one time that they get a lucky bounce, that's the run that scores in the game. So let's get over that real quick. Let's look at the lineup. Again, I'm still going to stick to my initial thoughts in preseason, and even right now, I don't like Taylor Ward leading off, but then again, you guys said it on Friday. Well, Todd, he got a hit in the first inning. He looked pretty good. And then right now, it's the same thing when you have what do you call it? Taylor Ward going 2 for 4. Shonawell came in there 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. You had Mike Trout 0 for 4 as we look at the lineup. And again, if you look at Mike Trout's at bats, the one thing we were talking about this year that could be different is Mike Trout actually having a breakout season because he lost a lot of that big girth and weight. And you look at him and you say, okay, maybe he's a little bit better because, he'll be able to get better bat speed. He's not so muscular. He could drive him or he could get more hits. And so far, he's still living up to the billing from last year, which is not catching up to the fastball, missing, especially on the high heat. He's not even close. And you're not talking about Ben Joyce 100-mile-per-hour pitches. You're talking about 80. I think I saw him strike out on a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. That is really depressing. You had a nice game from Soler. He scored the winning run, but he had 1 hit, 2 at-bats, and 2 walks. And you give me no strikeouts for Soler, I'll take it every day of the week. That is a guy who can tend to strike out a lot at times, but he was playing pretty good today. He had probably one of your better, besides the pop out I think I had him through midway in the game. Pretty good at bats up there. But I can't say that for Shonawell, who had a bad afternoon, with runners in scoring position. Taylor Ward also hit into a stupid-ass double play, rolling over on one of those sliders. And that's why I give the White Sox credit, because when they had to throw the pitches to get the outs, the Angels played right into their hands because they did not make the necessary adjustments to watch out for those pitches. When you're throwing sliders on the outer half of corner, again, I'll harp on this one more time, with a right-handed hitter, if they're throwing those pitches and they've been throwing them, they've been doing it all game, try to take what they give you, which is a Bobby Abreu approach, which is a Sean Figgins approach, which is a Garrett Anderson approach, and all the greatest hitters that have been through the Angels in the 2000s. The fact of the matter is they took what the pitcher gave them and they went with it. So meaning, I believe outside of Soler, Renifo had the best day hitting because they were trying to pitch him outside, and he said, you know what? I'll go to left field. You guys are kind of shading me to the right. I'll go to left field. And he did that consistently. And I think that's what you need to do. There was plenty of times when they could have went the right side of the field to move runners over. I thought the only one that had a worse day at the plate was Newman. Newman had several opportunities to give the Angels the lead. He could have cashed in 2 hits that would have provided 3 runs. But no, he went 0 for, and he actually had a terrible bunt. And then right after he tried the bunt, he didn't bunt again. There was a couple opportunities in this game too where you had guys literally had the bases stolen before the pitch was thrown, and the hitter, instead of recognizing the great jump that the runner had, took off already and was already thrown out at or not thrown out, but was they swung at the pitch that was way too high and fouled it off and erased any kind of stolen base. So there was a lot of them taking themselves out of promising positions. Going down the lineup real quick, Moncada went 1 for 3. I thought he played really good defensively. That was nice to say. And at least Newman played good defensively as well. Ohapi went 0 for 4. Another terrible. He had a strikeout, but he wasn't really having good at bats as well. Kind of shades of September for him. I already went over Renifo with 2 nice at bats. Adele had an infield single, but left with a sore tightness in his thigh. He'll likely miss tomorrow's game. He wasn't going to play anyway. But he won't even be, I think, available on the bench. We'll luckily maybe see him on the first game of St. Louis if everything goes right. Kyrie Paris came in, got a hit. Newman went, like I said, went 0 for 4. And again, you can look at it like this. Like I said last year, I counted up all the wins and losses when the Angels had 10 or more strikeouts, right? And they were 20 games under 500 or more when they had 10 or more strikeouts, which is a lot for the Angels. They were in the bottom as far as or in the top teams as far as most strikeouts last year. I think they were top 5 or top 3 even. And they had a winning record of over 20 games last year when they struck out 10 or 9 or less in a game, and they struck out 7 today. They put the ball in play. And that's what you're always told from like little league all the way up is you put the ball in play, good things will happen. And the Angels haven't done that in the last couple of years. But if we can get anywhere consistent, this could be a, I'm telling you, in preseason, I was real happy with the way they set up the bullpen, the guys who were going to be coming in, later in the season off of injury. And I like the fact that, if the team can hit, we can be competitive. I'm not calling playoffs. I didn't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But I do think this team can get to elevations of 81 and 81, which would be a nice turnaround from last year. That would be an 18-game improvement. And then you could build for next year. So, again, 1 down, people. 80 to go to get to my prediction. So we have 80 more to go. The Angels were a pathetic 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. I can't believe they gave him a 1 on that one because it was a ground ball that should have been fielded by Clevenger, but it went off his glove, slowed it down. Second baseman had no play, and the run scored, and that's your game winner right there. But as far as someone who pitches ass off, and again, it's bad when your home commentators are criticizing the manager, and basically they came out and were saying, well, hey, what happened here with Soriano? Why is he out of the game? He pitched good enough, 73 pitches. It's true. As good as we have the back bullpen, which, again, you had a runner in scoring position for Joyce. Yeah, you had one almost get into scoring position for Jansen. I'm not worried about those two guys. They're meant to make things a little bit dangerous, but when you got a pitcher pitching only 73 pitches, and I know it's game 2 of the season, I don't care. You play to win the game, said Herm Edwards, former Jets coach. And if a guy is dealing, you don't take him out. And especially with a pitch, I could see if Homeboy's pitch count was 95 at the end of 7, then I'd say, yeah, pat him on the back, butt slap, good job, hit the showers, let's try to win it for you. But he's at 73 pitches is what the opposing pitcher was at in the 5th inning. You're in better shape to at least give me one more solid inning to get to Jansen. And who knows, maybe he only pitches another 8 or 10 pitches, and you have the option of saying, hey, do we let him go for the complete game shutout? But they didn't do that. So that's the problem I had. The only problem I could look back and say, oh, crap. But because you look at his stuff, 73 pitches, 46 of them were strikes. He was in and around the zone, but with movement, hitting the corners inside and out. I thought it was a very, very fantastic start. Take away who they played against, that's fine. Whatever you want to say, I still like the start from him. Good moxie on him. Ben Joyce, he got the hold first of the year. Again, very efficient between him and Jansen. They both threw 19 pitches, and both of them threw 11 strikes. You like that strikeout to balls ratio. It was at 68 to 111. So that's pretty good. And again, you want to face more pitches on the opposite side. So this is one of those games where you could chalk it up where the Angels get the victory with less than 10 strikeouts, and you make the other team throw more pitches. The White Sox threw 139 total pitches. Angels threw 111 total pitches. So on not much to talk about on the White Sox, they struck out 7 times. They really didn't put the ball, really no real danger innings for the except for one, I believe in the 8th inning. That's it. They really didn't put a rally together. So the Angels pitching wise did a very good job. So with that being said, let's get into the awards, let's play this for the first time. We played it a lot last year, but we switched it up just in case copyright infringements. Same thing we did with the whole Savage Garden. We could no longer use a Savage Garden because, believe it or not, even a cover, I got a nasty email saying that they wanted half royalties for us using the song all year. I'm all, change the song. So this is Stukas, baby. The Angels get a W, and we all celebrate together. So there you go. The Angels get the win, 1-0. Much, much better vibe, even though it was a 1-0 game. Should have been 8. Well, no, I would say this. The Angels should have won this one 4-0. By the way, did you see Nestor Cortez for the Brewers? First 3 pitches back in Yankee Stadium. First 3 pitches all left the ballpark, and the Brewers got beat 20-9. 20-9. That's pretty crazy on game 2 of the season. Now let's get to an award, which is the coveted John Stamos Award given to Roger Lodge. He would loves to give it to John Stamos and his Full House butt buddy for best player of the game. The Golden Stamos, baby. Who gets it? I think you guys have a notion because Wayne Randazzo killed it in the 7th inning for us, giving it away. Well, the Golden Stamos has to go to one guy, and that's Soriano. I mean, how can you not give it to Soriano? Again, we're looking for good things from him this year, and I think you'll see it. I think you'll see, despite what the team does, I think you'll see Soriano with a winning record in double digits, whether it's 10 wins, frustratingly, because he gets a lot of no decisions, or it's 14 to 15 wins with him possibly being a fringe all-star pitcher this year. I'm dare to say it. I really like Soriano in that number 2 spot pitching behind Kikuchi. Do I like Kikuchi at 1? No. I wish we had a better ace, but it is what it is. And Kikuchi can give you some innings and he can do some things, but he doesn't have that kind of stuff. Soriano does. And I think, as long as we're not killing them out there, we're stretching our guys out right. I do like our pitching this year. And this is not just me blowing smoke up your ass because I'm not AM 830. I tell it how it is. I see it how it is. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I'm thinking. Again, it's against the White Sox, but out of the 2 starts, if Kikuchi pitches the way he did against the White Sox against another team, maybe we lose that game 5-0. You know what I mean? Maybe he gives up a couple more runs because he's facing better opponents, right? But the way Soriano pitched today, I challenge the Yankees or any other team to put up more than 3 or 4 runs. Maybe we take the loss in that game because the offense still does nothing. But I'm just saying Soriano, with his stuff today, could have only given up like 3 runs to the Dodgers. Because the movement was so great. You could put in better talent. They may get a few more runs, but he wouldn't have been blown out today. I mean, he was pitching really, really good. He was hitting his zones, and you want to see that. And I think he can do that because all we wanted from the starting rotation over the last couple of years is consistency, which we've never had because we've never had A, the talent, or B, the consistent performances because of the coaching. So, and the pitching. So let's see. Let's roll the dice. Again, we got one more against the White Sox tomorrow. Kowanowitz, another guy who had a very fantastic spring, goes up against another no-namer tomorrow. The whole question will be, can we score more than one run? Because I guarantee you we get one more run tomorrow. And if that's all that we get, we're definitely losing 2 out of 3, the reverse rally Chris. There's no way we're going to win a series scoring just 3 runs. So you got to put up some runs tomorrow. So far that we did the Golden Stamos, we did the Stukas for the Angels win. Let's talk about the Nacho Night. It's Nacho Night for the player that least performed for his team.
Nacho Night, oh yeah, Nacho Night. Pile it up, load it high. Extra shame, hold the pride. Grab a fork, take a dive. Dignity's gone, but the cheese survived. Moldy cheese, stale chips, what a sight. All your dreams gone tonight. Had a bad night, lost the fight. No more crunch, just take a bite. It's the Nacho Night Award.
You know, you can go several ways with this one. You could say maybe it's got to be a White Sox, right? And we've done this before last year. If you're new to the show, we've done the Nacho Nights. We've given it to, even when the Angels win, maybe a player had the hat trick or the golden sombrero with strikeouts, or he had, a bad innings starter or reliever. So even if the Angels won, we'll give it to the same team, our team, or it's not always against the opponent. It's not always for us as well, but we kind of mix it around. And I was thinking really hard because there wasn't too many bad at bats by the Sox. I thought it was just really, really good pitching today. You could say, oh, Mike Trout maybe got the award. He didn't really play that bad, but you're kind of like, how dare you with Trout? I would give it to Newman because he had terrible. And you know what? I will give it to Newman. I'm going to give it to Newman because I believe Newman, although he played good defensively today, there's no knocking that at all. When you can't lay down a bunt, you have some atrocious at bats with runners in scoring position. Again, this game was a bunt clincher, and it probably shouldn't have been as much as a bunt clincher because he rolled into some pretty bad double plays. He had some bad at bats. I mean, the situational hitting with him today was atrocious. So there's not really a standout guy. And if I've got a nitpick on one dude, it's going to be on Newman. So sue me. So there you go right there. Again, if you're new to the show, please like. It helps out the channel big time. Share it with your friends. If you got Angel fans, we got big things coming up. Again, more announcements on Monday, or I believe tomorrow when I finish all this crap. I got some other stuff to do. So we'll have the studio ready, I promise, for tomorrow's getaway game, which is early in the morning. It's 10:30, so be ready for that. Set your alarm clocks. And then also, again, Monday we'll be broadcasting for the Angels and Cardinals, which should be an interesting series because I think right now the Cards are in a final. It's actually a final right there. The Cards win 5-1. I believe they are out to a 2-0 start against the Twins. So there you go right there. So with that being said, let's move on to one more thing we got, and that is your comments. And the phone calls are not up yet. I try to do – it's funny because Skype is no longer for regular personal use. It's only for business use. They did away with their phone service, and I did not know that. So when I started everything up, I'm like, wait, I got the right information up here. I got everything going. They straight up canceled their phone service. So there is no phone for Skype. I dare you to try it. Zoom sucks. There's a Google phone that I'm trying to get installed to where we can have phones. If not, I'm going to share a link if you guys want to get in, but we're going to do only like 2 minutes. We're not going to do like a long thing like we did on opening day. It makes the show go faster if you guys just get in, say what you want to say, and then get out. And then we could wrap a little bit on that. But as far as I'm concerned, before we get to that, we get to what's most important, and that's your comments. And over on X, IE Native checks in, says, a win's a win, but straight up looking pitiful right now. And I can't disagree with that. He also says, I know it's the White Sox, but Soriano is straight fucking fire. And then Marty hits me up with the greatest line, which I love saying all the time because Trent Rush loves to do this. He even does this, apparently, rumor has it, he does this once he's done making love to whatever he makes love to, whether it's a stuffed animal of Roger Lodge or Artie Moreno. He says, we're so back. Also, Tyler says balls, and thank freaking goodness, because, again, it was a butt clincher when it didn't need to be.
For you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos. Time for
Yes,
you to
John
check out
Stamos.
what I want.
One more
I want
time.
balls and John Stamos.
Exactly. Daniel checks in with afternoon, everybody. Jason Hess says season starts tonight, because there's one thing that we are very, very, very vocal on, and that is letting you know that when we win, we win. But we get to tell you that the season starts even if we lose.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
And Sebastian is first up, and he says, you know what, dude? I need a drink. This team makes me drink, and I only know of one drink to drink, and that is only when it's spritz o'clock time, baby.
Spritz o'clock, angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
Boy, AI is truly scary. Timmer20 says pitching won us this game because the offense is abysmal. Jason Hess says let's clone Percy. Mike Trout checking in with we are so back even though I went 0 for 4. James says balls, and Kelly Jansen, because Kelly Jansen did look kind of strong in that ninth inning, with the exception of that walk. I mean, he came out and pitched really, really good. So
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Kelly Jansen. Midapi says, I fear we may be back. I gave up 8 times. California says, spritz o'clock. You're a little late on that one. First one gets it. Also, Dan Rio says, we are 500. Hell yeah. Mike Trout loving the Stukas. Light that baby up. Also, David Roscoe says, Angels finally won a game today. 1 run on 8 hits. He loves it. Jesus says, we're so back. It's not getting shut out. Robert also checks in with, need a better hitting plan. It is painful. And yes, it is. It's painful because this team does not make those in-game adjustments like I was talking about in the opening monologue. It's like, oh, let's just instead of taking what they give us, it's swing, uppercut swing, launch angle. Also, Grillmaster says Angels win. Cue the Angels in the outfield. We won, and that is more than this. So I love playing this one either way. Because we didn't get any Deos, and I'm waiting for us to see how many times we're going to get Deos at Angels Stadium. And by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Look it up. But check out the scaling article on the Angels Stadium not being up to standards baseball-wise, and they're wondering why it's not. And we've been saying that for a while. So, yeah, they're just barely getting to that right now.
We won?
That was Ron Washington. Also, Adele is injured. Where is Moniac? Sapphire says, watching this from my community gym. Jesus says, it's the Angel way by losing the rubber match. Hopefully not. James Malou checks in with check out Soriano's 7 innings. Yeah, exactly. Chubb says, just got off work to see we won. What the fuck? Also, Q FanDuel. Yeah, FanDuel was like, hey, check out the highlights of this one. We won the game by scoring 1. You probably got Bobby V in there. I didn't even check out who's working the what is it called, the post game for them. Grillmaster says, I would have shouted out Washington's head if we lost. Soriano should have gone the distance despite the first start of the season. I agree. Anaheim Angels could have won the World Series in 2003. Miguel Cabrera and Hideki Matsui. They would have had those guys in 04, actually. Jason Hess says Adele injury is Moreno's fault. Everything is his fault, especially with their awesome Planet Fitness just painted red that they have that they're bragging about. Oh, this is a state-of-the-art gym. No, it's not, dude. So far, we are consistent 1 run per game. 100 loss season, Jason Hess says. Bixie says Angels might not score over 5 runs all year. And I agree if they continue to do this crap. Jason Hess says Locked on Angels are live too. Are they both out there, or is it just a guy that's from UCLA? I graduated UCLA. I don't know if it's that dude or not. Also, Blixie says I'm not looking forward to Kwanowitz tomorrow either. I kind of am, dude. He's kind of been, to each his own, but I kind of been impressed the way he's been pitching. I really have. J-Dog says averaging 1 run per game is fire. His outing tomorrow will be fucking cherry on the top if we lose a series to the worst team in baseball. Now that I agree with you. If he comes out there and he surrenders 4 to 5 runs, and let's just say the White Sox are tired of scoring only 1 run or less, and then they want to get back to what they did on Friday, it could be a problem. Mike Trout says, don't talk to me like that. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see. You'll be back, but will you hit? Rally Chris says, Theis was like, Ron, even though I'm not an Angel anymore, I'm going to help you guys out to win. He was like, Venable, don't take me out the game, dude. That guy is so high, I swear to God. Although I did see a picture on one of the pillars on Friday at Anaheim Stadium where it's showing Shonawell. And Shonawell's like, dude, I'm taking over the mantle of the highest guy ever. Like, his eyes were so narrow, dude. I swear to God, I'm like, man, that's this guy, dude. He's super duper high. Robert says Newman is the new white squid. Ron is pissed right there. Grillmaster says we scored a run with a man on base, Q Lombardi. Again, we were assisted by Clevenger's glove, so I don't think it's really on the Angels that got that run. I think it was more luck.
What the hell's going on out here?
Exactly. Ron needs to play more small ball. Mario says we're back to 500. Albert Pujols checks in with where's Artie. MLA says any ay way no pinches mames way. I killed that. Said that as white as I possibly could, and I'm sorry. What's up, bro? Ready for another run? Yeah, we got one, dude. Rally Chris says update on Adele. Sam Blum just tweeted Adele is fine and he's not concerned, just tightness, he said, but doesn't expect it to keep him out. Well, again, Ron was saying he was going to sit him tomorrow anyway, so I guarantee you my left butt cheek, he's not in the lineup tomorrow. James says Adele says he's not concerned about the hip injury. Jeff Fletcher. Also, Ocean View says first win out the way. Stuka's baby. Mario's loving that right there. Maybe the Angels bats wake up tomorrow. Also, only thing we could do is that can ruin this win is Rendon. Obviously, Nestor Cortez sure brewing it up for the other team. Todd, I think the A's are going to be the sleeper. They could be. Their pitching will be tough this year. IE Native says Nestor Cortez is garbage. Best move the Yankees could have made. Yeah, he fell off since that rookie year. That is damn sure. Mike Trout says we win one today, we win one tomorrow. That's called a winning streak. Are you trying? Is the great Mike Trout? Is he trying to call out for a winning streak soundbite?
All right, you guys, let's listen up. We won a game yesterday. If we win one today, that's 2 in a row. We win one tomorrow, that's called a winning streak.
Thank you, Mike. Also, expect Kwanowitz to have a similar outing tomorrow as Nasty Nestor. Ooh, okay. Blixie's calling that one. I hope not. It's too early to start talking NFL, Mario says. Tamir 20 says, I think Soriano can be an all-star. J. Ram says, this team can't get the runners home from scoring positions. This is year after year. Fuck! And that also comes down to what they like to do, which is not make in-game adjustments. You could go and say whatever you want to say and say, I didn't like how Mike Scioscia was calling every pitch. I didn't like how Mike Scioscia was every at bat. He was calling every swing. But if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. I think the Mike Scioscia experiment did not go by the wayside because of analytics. It went because the team got cheaper and cheaper. Look at the roster comparison from 2015 to when he was let go. And look what he had prior from 14 and back. At least lineup-wise, Scioscia always had good, consistent hitting. It seemed like there was a breakdown between the players that Scioscia liked to get on this franchise, working with the GMs in place compared to what he had to work with in the back nine of his career as an Angels manager. And it's still the reason why he's not hired today, because he does not want to get – you mean to tell me Will Venable is the best, coaching decision for the White Sox? You mean to tell me if Mike Scioscia was going to sit here and say, okay, I will fall in line with analytics to become a major league manager again, the amount of teams that would be beating down his door for his experience as a manager, his coaching, his smarts, come on, dude. He would be hired in less than 30 seconds. Problem is, he's never going to get that because, true to his word, he will never give in to analytics. And deep down inside, as much as I miss him in baseball, I have full respect for that man. I really do. I really do. I don't think he got himself fired here in Anaheim, so to speak. I think he was a little long in the tooth, number one. And number two, I think analytics killed his career here. I think if the Angels would have kept the money flowing to get the right people in, kept the right kind of scouting department going, I think the Angels could have kept consistently winning. But we all know that didn't happen. Let's see. Also, I know it's early, but I can see Solaric becoming my fan favorite. He doesn't look overwhelmed and has hit plenty of dingers, and he will get going, James. Soriano looked great. He's our future ace as long as he stays healthy and Artie doesn't screw him over. Dan also says, nice improvement on the Stukas. Love it. I'm glad you like it, Dan, because that's who it's from. You put the idea out there. If anyone wants to know where we got that song from, it's Dan Rios. David says, Todd, when the Angels have runners on first and second and a 3-1 count, why don't they swing the bat and have a run and hit? But to take a strike and is insane. Also, one that I've always been told, okay, if you're going to sit there and get fooled on 3-1, that's one thing, David. But to then follow it up and take a check swing like Newman did or a couple other hitters did, which is swinging at pitches outside the zone, or just protect the plate. If it's anywhere close in the zone, you got to swing at it. If you start to see it, I've always been taught if you see a pitch on a two-strike count, waist high, it doesn't look like it's coming in on a freaking rope. It's got any kind of movement to it. Don't swing in it. It'll be at your ankles. If you see one start up around your head, that's coming into your zone. You want to protect, especially if it's in that strike zone area. So I guess a lot of these hitters don't go by that rule. Unfortunately, we blew our load on offense today. Hopefully not. Angels have an underrated starting rotation. Yes, they do, in my opinion, as well as yours. Blixie says, we'll get more than one run tomorrow, but we'll give up 5 that we score. 5 for every one we score. Can there be an award for the Dong Award for hardest, greatest, underappreciated performance of the year? We might have to work on that because I know you guys really love the Golden Dong. I got a couple of compliments at the stadium the other day for that award too. Nothing but smiles in the dugout as the Angels are a complete fucking dogfight with the White Sox. Exactly. It's kind of counterproductive. Neto needs to be back yesterday. Once Neto comes back, bring up more. Well, I'll tell you this, Jason, with Neto in the lineup, I think it provides more speed, double capability with him because he likes to rope them down the line, either side, right or left. He also can hit the home run. He's hit over 20 home runs. So that in the lineup, I mean, you'll likely see Neto. I mean, I would love to see him bat around 5th, but we'll see where they put him when he comes up. Moore needs to be up. We'll see what happens with Moore. I think right now the good thing is you can let him sit a little bit in the minors, let him stew and get going again. I say you give him at least a month or two, and unless the Angels are crashing in some way, that's the only way I would bring him up. Brian checks up. My friend says, my analytics calculator says Anthony Rendon is a piece of shit. I say your analytics are 100%. Demetrio says, watch the whole game today. 1-0 win over the shittiest team. 2 runs overall. Man, it's going to be a sad year. And if I had $1 for every time my dad said during today's telecast, which I was watching it with, he said, boy, this is going to be a long season if this keeps up. Boy, this is going to be a long season. I heard that maybe 10 times, so I would have $10. Blixie says, Artie, the happiest loser lunatic, sees nothing wrong with this. He doesn't. James says, dude, Nevin. Balls, and winning. And it is nice to win. It does suck when you don't win, the way you should and put up the effort the way that the team can put up an effort. But hey, a win's a win.
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Winning. Also, Dan Rio says, me love you long time. I think he's calling for this. Congrats. We may be the mighty burritos now. I don't know. I think we're chimichangas as it stands, but we can always play this one.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny, and me love you long time.
That is a great Roger Lodge, who, for the first time, I've seen them actually, broadcast a commercial for him on FanDuel. So there you go. He's big timing us. Come on down to section 225 Halo Honks for the Hoffy hot dogs and get the Angels fucked for 9 innings, or see the Angels get fucked for 9 innings. Chubb says, I'd rather listen to nails on a chalkboard than Bobby V. Jason S says he said he graduated from UCLA but works for the Clippers. He does the live at work. Yeah, that guy's awesome, by the way. He's awesome. I don't know how many times. I mean, I think he talks about himself more than Roger Lodge. That's saying a lot. Adele's injury looked like a quad, much easier to deal with than a hammy. Yes, day to day. Big 20 says, we can till tomorrow. Take 2 out of 3. Robert says, only runs we're getting from the chicken helmet nachos. Yeah, chicken doesn't look natural, by the way, from Angel Stadium. Damn it, Trout, a winning streak is 3 games, not 2. Rally Chris checks in with our boy Canning is facing the Astros later today to help us out. If Mets beat the Astros, we will be tied for first. But, man, dude, I will tell you this, Rally Chris, and I love you for being optimistic. But here on this network, yes, it's a win. It's game 2 of the season, and like Roger loves to say, there's plenty of baseball left to go. I honestly don't start looking at the standings unless the Angels are like 5 to 7 games out and it's super early. If it's not like that, to make fun of the Angels or be upset that they're in this position that they're at so early, I usually tend not to look at the division or the standings until we reach June. Then that's when I'm like, okay, we got a month to the deadline or so. Let's see what we're going to be doing. Let's see if we need anything or we're buyers or sellers, basically. So with a team that's not that good, I'm just looking day to day, to be honest with you. I'm not looking at, hey, we're 1-1 and Seattle is 1-1. No. We wait to talk about that for a while. There's no reason to look at that. Unless a team in our division goes on a 10-game winning streak or a 10-game losing streak, there's really no need to look at that stuff. Brent Thompson says Artie must go. Right, and I do. We've needed him gone a long time ago. So I couldn't agree more. Rye Guy says Yankees scored 20 runs and the Angels fighting for 1 against the AAA team. Shows you where we're at. Thice says, dude, I play for the White Sox now? Nevin! Also, balls, and analytics. Also checking in with, I'm in the military and the Angels fuck me more than the government. Best line of the day. Phones were banned in the rooms due to the pictures of the dong. You might have a point there, Marty. Jason says more played in the minors at Tennessee, maybe even AAA. He did play pretty good over there. And again, I still need to see a little bit more polishing of his offense. I think defensively, he's balled out. Offensively, he's done some things too. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want to rush him up here and have him struggle. We were lucky that Neto came up here and really did not tear the cover off the ball right away. It took him a couple months to get going. I don't want to see a good guy like Christian Moore, who could be not only the face of the franchise even more than Neto. Who knows? Because he looks bigger and better than Neto. But we have to see what he does in the majors. But I know one thing. He's got a major league personality. He's, from what I've heard, a great guy. and could be a potential great leader from what we heard from Joyce in his time in Tennessee. So we saw his interview at the draft. I'm hoping for big and badass things from him. Trust me, I am all in on the Moore project. I hope it's the right time. I really just hope it's the right time and all things fall into place. And then we have a dynamic infield. And I'm hoping that Shonawell can better get his hitting down. I think defensively he's grown a lot, but if he could start busting a Louis Renifo and going the other way, taking because again, he's not your prototypical power hitting first baseman. And I'm fine with that. I just want to see more hits, more gappers, more Bobby Abreu type hits. I'm going to keep going back to Abreu because we always talk about these hired guns that are home run hitters, right? Bobby Abreu was a hired on base guy. Like he was a hired gun in that aspect. He was a professional, true hitter that, okay, man, if you're not going to give me nothing to hit, I'm going to get on base and walk. And he was not the skinniest dude. He was kind of portly, and he still had wheels on him. He still respected the game to stay in shape and to become that threat on the bases as well. So if you took the chance and walked Abreu, he's at first, he's going to take off for second. And if he has a 9-pitch at bat and you get him out, he's going right. I don't know how many times he went to the on deck circle and guys who were, in the hole and telling him about their experience, about his experience, and trying to help them in their at bats. You just can't teach that. You can't replace that. That is hard to have. And I wish the Angels had more guys like him that were more team-oriented, skill-oriented, and respect of the game and their bodies. Because I'm telling you right now, this team would be much better with guys like that on this franchise. I'm calling it right now. We're going to get 1 run tomorrow. Oh, geez. Thice says, or Rye Guy says, Thice helping the Angels get that 1 run was classic. Balls and losing 20 pounds. Ben says the Halo Honk Tuas are talking about how they were going 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Great hitting. Easy checks in with, let me hear your honest opinion on how the season will go. Well, Easy, I look at it this way. If you can get the pitching to pitch like this, we're going to suffer some injuries, no doubt, because that's the Angels' way. But if you're able to pitch consistently, allowing 4 runs or less or 5 runs or less is, to me, really, you have no issues, or you should have no issues staying in ball games when you're allowing 5 runs or less. You have an opportunity to hit a bloop and a blast, start a rally, score a couple runs, and nudge your way back into it. It's all going to come down to the hitting. I still think this team can make 81 wins. We're 80 away from my prediction now. I still think they could do it, but you have to have good at bats on a nightly basis, even if you lose. You cannot be striking out 10 or more times. Put the goddamn ball in play and good things will happen. It may not happen every night. You may just run into one of those pitchers where you have to tip your cap, or you might just have to say, hey, man, we didn't strike out 10 times. We just hit the ball where everybody was at. We couldn't find the green. And those nights happen too. But more often than not, if you're putting the ball in play, you're making the pitcher work, you're putting pressure on the defense by getting guys on base, good things will happen. It's the law of average. And this team didn't do it at all last year. And the result was there, 63 wins. And despite a pitching staff, which is far less talented it was last year to this year, I believe. And I think they pitched over their heads to keep the Angels in a lot of those games, man. It could have been really ugly last year, and it wasn't due to the pitching. So to sum it up easy, I think they could be 81 and 81. Tyler says the animation, Todd, in the corner looks like Jake Arrieta. It's supposed to be me. Big 20 says we will win tomorrow. Tamara 20 says, did you see the beginning of the broadcast before the game started? Gooby and Wayne were making excuses saying the wind was the reason why the offense struggled in the game. Of course. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't say the sun, showing the fact that it only came out today. Rye Guy says Washington calling out Newman when asked if he took the bunt, telling the reporters to ask Newman why he didn't keep the bunt sign on for pitch 2. Well, that makes sense too. Maybe you got to take away his cell phone. He's sneaking it. Trout forgot how to hit the fastball, Ben says. Also, Jason says, my question is why didn't we play Friday? Like, why wasn't that a straight series? Like, why was there a day off? Wasn't weather Moreno's fault? No, it's MLB scheduling. If you look back the last 4 years, for whatever reason, the league likes to go all in on opening day and give most of the teams, if not all of them, the day off. Now, they did that the first year. I don't know why. I think you start the season and keep it rolling, and then you start giving off dates if you need them. I mean, it just doesn't make sense how you get ready through spring training to play one game and have a day off. It doesn't make sense. The same thing, I couldn't understand why you would pitch a position player knowing you have a day off, knowing that none of these guys are taxed. We haven't played 10 to 13 games in a row. It doesn't make any sense, but I think it's a money grab. They played half the games on Friday. Angels were one of them to start on Friday, and then the other half were yesterday. The Dodgers are the only ones that were getting screwed so far. They've already played 4 games. But hey, they won the World Series, so who gives a fuck? Tyler says we can guarantee that the Halos will score more than Farkas this season. Sapphire says give us Garrett Anderson as hitting coach, Tim Salmon, or Torrey Hunter, or someone like that needs someone in the dugout to try to motivate this team. Trout is too quiet. I agree. Isaac Flores says, Todd, glad you're back, brother. I'm glad you're back on here, Isaac. I was on here on Friday as well. But yeah, I mean, having some Angels alumni, I don't like Tim Salmon as much as I did as a player. I don't know if he would pay off, but I do think Garrett Anderson would not be the loudest guy. He's quiet, but he would teach some really good fundamentals. I just think with analytics, you're not going to hire guys like that because those guys were taught a different way, and the organizations don't want that teaching to get in the way of analytics. And that's just the sad truth. Speaking of Nevin, he's all over the White Sox, or he's there with the White Sox. Remember, Todd? No, I think Nevin is in San Diego. If I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of their guys, as far as our hitting guys and pitchers and other coaches, are over there. Former Christian will come up in a few more weeks. I see what you did there, Grill Master. Also, James Cano says Deo. Also, cheese on the microphone award goes to Jorge Soler. So he wants to hear more of this at the Angel game. Deo! I do want to get a Deo meter for home games. I want to put it up on the side here and show you exactly how many Deos there was. Thice, Isaac says, dude, did a solid job today. Or did us a solid. Jason says, very good point about Moore. It's just like, I know they will bring him up in the middle of the season. Damn Abreu's balls in Todd's mouth. I'm joking, brother. I'm sorry I couldn't help. Okay, so I like him, but not that much. Robert, reverse rally Chris going 1 out of 3. The White Sox get 1 run tomorrow. Dan says Abreu's goal was seeing the minimum of 5 pitches every at bat. Where is that on our staff? Luke says superb pitching, but the offense, oof. Also says Gubazon Randazzo. Newman is one of the toughest hitters to strike out. Newman also then strikes out. Grill Master says need to get Newman in the box, not named Kevin. Mateo also checks in with Spritz o'clock. We already did that a while ago, dude. We already had that botanical spritz. Also, Fernando says we need to add a clip of Wayne Randazzo's microphone cheese on the Nacho Night video. That is, we got to send that email over. And by the way, we got to send that over to Randy to maybe he could edit that in. But that was hilarious. And then the fact that you don't take it off your microphone right away. I mean, I can only imagine what that hot dog tastes like, because Wayne doesn't look like the type of dude that dabbles with Korean spicy food or Chinese or what. I think it's Korean. So I'm not, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I think kimchi is Korean. I could be wrong. It could be Chinese, but kimchi's an acquired taste. And to have a hot dog, whether it's on cheese or on hot dog, and then have them test it live, that was hilarious. Someone in the production studio doesn't really like him all that much, or one of the producers. But the fact that you would try that hot dog and not move your microphone, because you can let Gooby talk. Gooby could be like, hey, I like the pitch right here. And then you indulge in the hot dog. And I'm the only thing that would have made that moment better with the cheese on the microphone had they zoomed in on Wayne inserting it, because I was waiting for a Gooby to be like, hey, you might want to insert that thing carefully. There's a lot of Kamichi on that dog. That would have been funny. But no, it didn't go that way. Mateo checking in with James. Jason says Neto and Moore will be an all-star duo at some point. I agree with that. Weston was looking down at Kenley a bit. Wonder if she still got the hots for the big Calhoun. Rye Guy says different sports network, same stupid intro. Yeah, they couldn't spend. Look, credit to Randy, and I'm going to keep bringing him up. He invents songs. He's made the songs on here. He's created those. He's created like different beats and stuff for us in the past. How you cannot have a budget 1,000 times to 1,000,000 times more than Randy over there and not be able to be like, you know what? I think the fans have had enough of this, and we can make. They're like that old guy on the basketball courts that, you know, you just pounded his team into submission and he's all, run it back, baby. That's how Bally Sports / FanDuel is. They're like, wow, you know, we've been playing that song for everything. And instead of changing it up, since we're a new network now, let's just go with what works. Imagine having a drinking game to that. I just don't know if you can survive the night. What was Roger Lodge saying? I think Roger was, like he said on Friday, introducing himself in third person. He's like, Roger really liked this game. He really liked the fact that the Angels got one run. Ignore the fact that the Angels could not hit. It was all about Soriano. Balls in Roger's mouth. Ill no. Soriano side. Luke, that's a little early. Wayne's words. That's actually not bad right there. That's a good play on words, Fernando. Rally Chris says, nope, he's on the White Sox as a special assistant in their player development. Yeah, good luck with that, White Sox. Good luck with that. Jason Hess says Kamichi is Korean, definitely an acquired taste. And it's weird because I've had Kamichi like I think by itself and kind of liked it. A friend of mine is Korean, and because I thought it was, you know, his type of food, and he made it up for me. It's one of James's friends too, and it came out pretty good. But then I went to a restaurant. I'm like, oh, Kamichi on eggs. Let me try that. Massive churro and upset stomach. Mateo says, I hate having a Thursday game than a Friday off. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. Also says Trent Rush is a certified Glizzly Globber or Gobbler, whatever. All I know is he's a straight bootlicking houseman as well. Bring back the Fox intro. The Fox intro is no joke, really good. No wedding band on Erica's hand anymore. Looks like her marriage might have lasted less than mine did. I wonder what happened. Yes, that's awesome, Fernando. Oh, for you diehards, that is hilarious. That is definitely a good pull right there. Mateo says, hey, Mike Trout is in right field. Q Bally's. They're all, hey, this guy, Mike Nelson Trout is in right field.
John Stamos choked on me.
He sure did. Eric Ward checking in with one run, but I'll take the win. I know it's only 2 games in, but this lineup sucks. We need real hitters who will work the count. Amen, brother. Amen. Hashtag Mike Drought. I like that, Ulysses, because that you got to get this offense going. And everybody, look, do you think for a moment that if Kobe didn't have that killer instinct and Kobe's the man post Shaq, even with Gasol, that dude's not hitting his shots, guys are standing around watching him wondering why he's not hitting his shots. So a guy like Mike Trout, you need to have him have at least productive at-bats to where he's drawing walks or moving guys over and maybe just missing a home run by warning track power, right? You don't need him striking out and other players looking around. He needs to set the tone. I think that's the one thing. Fine. If you're not a leader with your mouth, be a leader with your bat. And I think that's what would make Mike Trout better because guys want to emulate what he can do. Not that they could one-up him, but they want to show that they can produce too. So if you have a guy that's consistently batting around 300 like he could have been over the last few years, or, you know, a guy who's batting 30 to 40 home runs with 100 RBIs or so, that's going to want other guys to contribute too, man. I'm telling you, dude, if you're not going to lead with your mouth, lead with your bat. Roger Lodge likes to lead with his mouth, but in other ways. Rick Guzman says, slow game, but we got the win. Mateo says, Todd, I've been meaning to ask you, do you feel bad for Mickey about getting released before opening day? No. And I'll tell you why, Mateo. Might have been a nice guy. That's fine. Might have done the things hitting-wise to show the coaches that he's ready for a nightly, daily game. But as far as you've been given an opportunity, you were a first-round draft pick, which a lot of people forget, of the Philadelphia Phillies. They sunk a lot into you thinking you were going to be the next big thing. They thought you were going to be Brandon Marsh, except Brandon Marsh became Brandon Marsh in Philly. And when Moniak came over here, this is one of your last chances. I will tell you this. I think Moniak signs with either the Pirates, Marlins, possibly the Reds, or the A's. I think he's going to go to one of these teams that just desperately need depth, and he's going to become a fourth outfielder after accepting a minor league deal. He was going to do good in the minors, come up. The reason why I don't feel bad for him is the fact that you had 2 cracks at it to be given that center field, left field job, and you couldn't do anything with it. You had the same identical season in 23 as you had in 24, which is below or at the Mendoza line, striking out way too much, not putting the ball in play, making your occasional mistake in the outfield, playing just good enough to be in the lineup. And then when the games don't matter, the Angels are pretty much done. You start tearing the cover off the ball in August and September, which gave you another chance last year to play for the team. I had an identical year as you did before. And I think what killed it for him is they were like, okay, we need a fast start. So if he does not ball out in spring training, you're gone. And he did what he did in every other spring training, bat 170. So no, I don't feel bad for him because he never upped his game. He never changed his approach. At least, look, with Kyron Paris, you could look at him and say, okay, he's had a couple failed years. He's been toughing it out in minor leagues, but he changed his approach. He got ready, new him, new season, and look what he's done. He's made the team. Whether people agree about it or not, he's made the team. Will we see a Kyron Paris improved at the major league level this year? I hope so. I'm rooting for the guy. Guy's really nice, really young. He's got a lot to prove, but he made the effort. He made the adjustments. That's that magical word, adjustments, that the Angels don't do in-game, but you see from a handful of guys who really want to take the game seriously, who really respect the game, those guys are going to make the team and do good for the team if they take it seriously, respect the game, and make the necessary adjustments, as I think right now that he has done. Game 2, we already have an injury. I already said that right there. Also, haha, is it pronounced kimchi? Okay, so I'm obviously not Korean. Rick Guzman says, when is your tailgate party? Rick, it will be April 19th over at Bruheim. I'll have more information for you and anyone else who wants to come out, because we will be selling a brand new shirt, and part of the tailgate experience, we might hook it up with some free food if you purchase a shirt too. So that is something to look forward to. I'm working with Bruheim on the food right there. That way you can indulge yourself into some beer and then also get some food and a shirt. And we're going to have games there. So if you like the gigantic tic-tac-toe, if you like the gigantic Jenga, if you like cornhole, we're going to have tournaments and giveaways right there too. Not as big as I think we'll have for the second tailgate, because this one kind of came together last minute, but we will have some fun things. So bring the family down. It should be fun. Angels need to win tomorrow in Chicago, David Rosca says. Also, Todd, what's the over-under on Trout playing 120? I think it's over. I'm going to be very, very bullish, and I'm going to say he plays more than 120 games. By the way, since you brought up over-unders, let me play a quick commercial for you.
Hey, Todd, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Underdog app sponsored by Halos in the Infield. Actually, you can punch in HITI and get the promo code 20% earnings on your first bet via Underdog, the app. And also, they match 50% up to $1,000 winnings if you place bets. You can put them on players. You can put it on teams. It's a nightly thing. It's so easy to play, but also gamble responsibly. All because of Halos in the Infield and Underdog, the app.
That app is actually blowing up, and it is actually something to where you could bet on individual stats. So you don't have to actually go for teams, point spread, stuff like that. You can actually just make a bet saying, oh, I think Angel Reese is going to have like 20 rebounds tonight. If you were to bet WNBA for some reason, if you bet the over, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's how, if you know how to gamble, that's how it is. So it's actually very easy, but it can be very easy if you know what I mean. So please gamble responsibly. I'm not the biggest gambler at all, but it is one of our sponsors. So just be on the lookout for that. You will get discounts through us if you put us in the promo code. Erica Forrest Whitaker Weston is single now, boys. Also did the research. I think she's in her 30s right there, maybe 31, 32. Eric Ward says, am I the only one? But why the hell is Shannawell batting second? He needs to be back in the minors. He's not ready yet. I would actually agree with you right there, Eric. Not as far as the minors, but I would say that for me, I would like someone else to be leading off. Like if Kyron Paris lives up to the hype, I would like him leading off and then having Renifo bat second and like Neto bat around fourth or fifth when he comes back. Kind of interchange Neto with Ohapi between fourth and fifth behind Trout. I really don't I like the fact Trout's batting third. Will his bat wake up? I hope so, but that's primarily where you want a power hitter. Shannawell, I'd put, if I had my way, have him bat eighth or, in front of Ward and then flip the lineup with somebody at 9, like Newman, if he were playing still, or somebody else. I just don't like Shannawell up there too. I think they're thinking he's more Darren Erstad. He's not anywhere close to that yet, hitting wise. Jason S says Trout is waiting for the WBC. Nobody is hitting unbelievable. I hope that changes. Sydney Sweeney is 27 and just called off the wedding. Methinks I have a chance. Methinks you wrong. Theis was like, Nevin, I'm over here too. I can hit for the Angels. White Sox, I'm helping them out. My ex-girlfriend, Nevin. Also, little Miss Curry, Sweeney got some major honkers. She's not little no more. She's round Miss Curry. Luke says, I like how praise Shannawell's vision, how they praise his vision and discipline, and then we get to watch him strike out on 3 pitches. Should have been torched. He's with the Rockies already. Oh, he is with the Rockies. So he did find that lower tier team, Robert. I did not know about that. Thank you guys for saying he's with Colorado. Eric says, which means his career is fucked. And by the way, real quick on the Rockies, I had this discussion with Fernando. I really think it's a detriment to baseball because there's nothing to do up there in the summertime in Denver. And they pack it out. I don't know how many times I've seen a Dodgers game when they go up there, try to see them lose or whatever, or see the Angels when they've gone up there, other teams. And for a team that's always consistently in last place, they get a tremendous amount of fan support. I feel bad for that fan base only for the fact that, they had the Broncos be good. They win some Super Bowls in the last 20 years. They've had the Nuggets win a championship, and even the Avalanche have won a championship. But the Rockies has just been consistently bad for a good fan base. And I would love to see that team be more relevant in the NL West, but they have an owner, which is shocking to say. If you know your history, he may not be in as much turmoil and scandals as Artie Moreno, but if you had to keep it towards baseball, by far, I think the Rockies owner is worse than Artie Moreno. Robert says, Grill, will you have a better chance of getting an MLB contract with the Angels than you do Sweeney? Rye Guy says, how long do you think Anderson will last, or is he the new number 6 on the team? Well, we'll have to see because again, when Neto comes back, it's going to take a lot of playing time away from these guys. I think as long as Renifo stays healthy, that's going to take playing time away from these guys. I would say till then, if he's not hitting, it might be a real short, experiment with Tim Anderson. I know he could be a douche at times. I really didn't like how he didn't tip his cap on Thursday. So Brent says, I bet $100 that Ohtani is betting on March Madness without even knowing it. Tamir 20 says, I'm taking the under on Trout. Mateo says, I'm taking the over on Marcia getting laid tonight. Ew. Also, Underdog has Grills chances with Sydney Sweeney 8 billion to 1. I know there was as many dudes in the world. Also says we are just waiting for our true first baseman and future Vladdy Jr. Boy, I would love to see him an Angel. I ain't gonna lie, but it is gonna take a lot of pesos to pay for that dude. Where would you bat Dumbo Ears? I would bat him 7th for sure. Unfiltered says, did I miss the song? Yes, you did. Angel Reese is the second hottest in WM. If you think she's hot, girl, you definitely need some glasses. That is Sid from Ice Age Reincarnated. Coors Field is legit. Eric Ward says, also, let's all pray Vladdy Jr. comes here. I wish so. I hope so. Todd over under. I beat my Spritz o'clock record from last year. I don't know, bro. You're already over 2, but you could try. Because I think you did about 100 of those last year. 2 games in already. DFA Grill, DFA Ohapi. Eric Ward says this team really needs Zach back on the field and in the lineup. Absolutely. Rocky fan base is ridiculous. I've been up there. It's horse shit. You're right. They packed the house though. Tim Anderson was great with my kids at spring training, signed everything and talked with my oldest. That's cool, Robert. Beautiful stadium though in Colorado. My chances with Sweeney are 69 to 1. Now I see what you did there, but I do not agree. Real quick, let me play the sponsors. I'll give you on the backside of the sponsors. I'll give you some more information about the Bruheim stuff, and then what to look out for as far as the shirts.
Brought to you by 714 Tickets in Anaheim, your trusted source for Angels tickets at unbeatable prices with no hidden fees. Whether it's home or away, they've got your seat covered. Visit them at 2424 East Catella Avenue, Anaheim, or online at 714tickets.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your purchase. And Bruheim, Anaheim's premier craft brewery, pouring fresh, locally brewed beers in a welcoming atmosphere for Angels fans and beer lovers alike. Stop by their tap room at 1931 East Right Circle, Anaheim, or check them out at Bruheim.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your tab. The OC Dugout, your one-stop shop for officially licensed Angels memorabilia, custom jersey framing, and exclusive autograph signings with your favorite players. Visit them at 1928 East Center Street, Anaheim, or online at theocdugout.com. Support the businesses that support Halos in the infield.
All right, so one of our big hitters in the lineup on Halos in the infield just messaged me right now, and I think you guys and gals might be a little happy with him. He's the great Robert, Big Rob on this network. As you know him, and he's been on here, done some lives, been needing to get him on a post game or a podcast with us here soon. But with Bruheim, he has just thrown it out there that he's going to give us a bit of an open bar to start the festivities. So you might want to come early, which means drinks are on him, baby. So Robert is going to put down the first $200 so that you and yours can come down on April 19th to Bruheim and have a drink with us. And be sure to, though, since he is doing this, to tip your cap to him, give him a fist bump or a bro hug, because I think that is awfully nice of Robert. Robert has a big heart, and he has a beautiful family, and he is one of our best hitters on this network. So I just want to throw that out there, as he wanted to throw that out there, as he is very much trying to push this tailgate in the right direction by giving out leadoff beers to everybody. $200 worth. Don't go over that. Just saying. The first 200 is on him, and then maybe we'll have someone else contribute moving forward. But I do know that we will have shirts available for that. And as far as the shirts are concerned, it's on a pre-order basis so that we have them there in time. So what we're going to do tomorrow or Monday, be on the lookout, and I'll mention again in the post game that I will put it on the Shopify. As long as you order them, we will have them to you whether or not you come to the Bruheim tailgate on the 19th. What we'll do, because we have to order a certain amount first. So once we get over the 24 shirts threshold, because whenever you get a screening, you have to make a certain amount. So once we get those 24 in, we'll either, if you want them now, which was, once we have the 24 orders, whenever that comes in, or you want them at the actual tailgate, we will hand them over to you with your beer and maybe a discount on, because it looks like we're going to have a discount on food too. So you might get a free plate if you order. So there you go. So it could be free beer. You get your shirt. You get to hang out with us, play games, win some things in the raffle, and then also get some free food on top of it. And I'll know exactly what's on the menu in the next couple days. We should have the great Randy Yoss, producer to the stars, hooking it up with an advertisement so that if you don't want to wait for me to say it, you can just click on the link that we'll have pinned to one of our pages. And there you go. So it should be a nice day on April 19th. And I would get your tickets as soon as possible because that is Star Wars weekend. And I believe that's the Millennium Falcon night. So we will be there from 2 to 5, 2 to 5, 5:30 abouts, and then we'll clean up and get out of there and we'll be at the game. But that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to have a 3.5-hour tailgate party, hang out. We're going to have music. Like I said, all kinds of games. It should be really fun. This is what we want to do. Support local business. Rob also went out there and was able to get Brewheim as a new sponsor. So again, hats off to him, dude. And we much appreciate that, bro, for hooking it up right that for everybody, because again, these type of tailgates bring Angel fans together. And it also is a good sign that, we don't have to depend on Artie to do shit like this, because he only cares about the season ticket holders. He doesn't care about the everyday man and women that support the team, that love the game. And again, if you can't even make the game that day, that's great. We may have a few extra tickets to give out, where I'm working on that with 714 tickets. So maybe we can hook it up there. And even if you don't go to the game, hang around. We have our drink discount that applies the entire game. And I'm trying to talk them into doing what Noble did, which was even more discounts once the game is on. So again, hang out. That place is different from Noble because there's plenty of room to sit with the family, not just, sit on uncomfortable bar stools. There's all kinds of places to sit, outside, inside, nice benches, nice chairs, everything. So again, be sure to check us out. Keep up on the updates. We'll have a video for you soon. And again, the first round is on Mr. Rob Dog. So we really appreciate that, man. Big time looking out right there. Let's see. Also, Luke says, I like how 714 is now killed plans of the area around the Angel Stadium, which is what it was supposed to be. Yeah, dude, that whole area went up in smoke right there. It really, really did. Also, Jason Hess says, Todd, let me know when the second tailgate at Brewheim is. I'll come in from Texas. That one's going to be in May. We're going to do at least 1 to 2 every month. We have 2 tailgates in May. So be on the lookout for, I think one of them is against the Orioles, I want to say, and one is against the Marlins. One of them is going to be a watch party where we stay there the whole time. And the other one's going to be a full-on tailgate, and we're leaving before the game starts. So there you have it right there. Trout needs to lead off. I don't know about that one right there. Also, Hayes says, why did you leave? Why did Heedy leave Noble? I enjoyed the free parking there. Will the new brewery have free parking if I mention the Heedy gang? Yes, it will. It will have free parking over there at Brewheim, but it is more limited than what we had at Noble. That's the only downside. And I think for right now, you could still park for free at Noble, but I do know that the guy is looking to charge in the future. So take advantage of it while it's there at Noble. And I think that was one of the downsides too. Noble is trying to charge for everything. So I think they're trying to utilize that parking, which is amazing to me why they haven't done it yet. But hey, it was good for the fans. And hopefully it lasts a little bit longer. But Brewheim's not that far of a walk. You would just have to walk in through the State College way, or maybe through the side gate where that ice hockey rink is. It is a little bit more of a walk. I will say that. So my suggestion, if you're going to go to Brewheim, you could still park over at Noble. when you're done. But I would say if you have the money to go into the stadium, you don't mind paying Artie. If you don't want to do the long ass walk, make sure you just have a designated driver to get over there. Also, Lee says, "Hey Todd, looking forward to having a beer with you during the game." Yes, and come out to our tailgate on the 19th. If we don't have it before that, you can definitely have a beer with me. I will greatly indulge anybody who either wants to buy a beer or I'll buy a beer for them just so we could rap and talk baseball. Grillmaster wants a ticket. We'll see what I could do. Like I said, I'm talking to 714 Tickets and Ron Holt. We're trying to get one last thing on the tailgate for the Marlins series. I'm trying to buy a section. If I'm able to get that section, I want all of us sitting together. I think that would be really cool, and maybe we could do it what we wanted to do a few years ago, and that means having everybody in shirts, same color, and we could be promoting everybody together, including the page. We'll see. That's a little ways out, but I'm in talks with them right now to see if we can possibly do that, and if we could do that for the Marlins, it will be less expensive to everybody. We could possibly do a all-inclusive thing where we have like a meal deal set up over at Bruheim before the game, tailgate, have your shirt ready, and then also be out at the ballpark, all sitting together, enjoying, just spending the day together. And that's how I think how it should be. Real Angel fans deserve to be around other real Angel fans, and at a good price, and just enjoy the company. So that's what we're all about here, man. Again, like and subscribe to all of our shows. Give us a shout out. We really appreciate that. Merchandise on the way, whether you want to buy it or win it. We have some extra stuff from last year that we're going to be auctioning off, or at least, raffling off via game. So if you're good at cornhole, I think that's one of the games we're going to be, playing to see who was real good at cornhole, and you can possibly win free shirts, a beer mug, other stuff like that. And Grillmaster, yes, you could bring down your Pico de Gallo on the 19th. I'll tell you this, if anything, if you're able to contribute enough for a lot of people, not just a little, I will definitely get you a ticket for sure. So that being said, look, Angels win. We get a huge victory here this afternoon, if you want to call it that. But anytime you could knock a win out in the majors, I'll take it. Angels win 1-0 on 8 hits and a awesome pitching performance by Mr. Soriano. Let's see. Acrolopolis 28 says we need to get back Socha into baseball, speed in the top of the lineup, and Zach Neto leading up. I'd like to see Neto at number 2 too, because he could be really devastating right there. Maybe lead off for Nifo. Missing those days, man, of having those 1 and 2 hitters of Sean Figgins and Eric Ibar up at the top. Getting those hits, setting up Trout and Pujols and other guys. Robert says, Todd, you need to take that hat off. I just got a Hims ad for hair loss on this. Are you going to sponsor me with Hims as well? I hear good things about them. See you later, heading out. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It is still early. It's only 3:00. Angels win. Let's play Stukas one more time before I get the hell out of here. We will see you tomorrow after the post game. It's an early one. I think it's a 10:30 start. Yeah, 10:30 start. So with all that being said, Stukas.